It's Tuesday, April 5th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News, broadcasting from Jerusalem. We open with the affair surrounding the IDF soldier who shot a disarmed Palestinian terrorist outside of Hebron nearly 2 weeks ago. At this hour, the military court is debating the prosecution's appeal to allow the soldier to remain confined to an army base until the end of proceedings against him. The prosecution insists they do not accept the soldier's version of events, that he re-shot the neutralized terrorist out of concern he posed an imminent danger. Prosecutors hope to file charges against the soldier by the end of the week. Unconfirmed finding of an autopsy that was performed on the terrorist's body this week apparently showed that the assailant was alive at the time he was shot again by the soldier. The IDF will issue a final decision on the autopsy only once the criminal investigation is completed. If the official results in fact prove the terrorist was alive, this will enhance the prosecution's case against the soldier, who will likely be charged with manslaughter. Meanwhile, the family of the Palestinian assailant said they plan to demand compensation from Israel for the killing and have asked the PA to turn to the International Court of Justice on the matter. It's been cleared for publication that security forces have arrested 3 Palestinian men suspected of carrying out a shooting attack on Israelis near Iskaka in the West Bank at the beginning of February. No one was injured in the attack, but 1 car was damaged. The 3 men are all members of the same family from the Palestinian village of Aurora, north of Ramallah. The group confessed they purchased 2 weapons from an arms dealer in the West Bank. The guns were later recovered by the Shin Bet. It's also been revealed that IDF forces last week arrested a 28-year-old resident of the Palestinian village of Azun who was carrying weapons and a knife outside the Jewish settlement of El Matan in Samaria. According to his investigation, the suspect originally planned to carry out a shooting attack next to El Matan, but apparently changed his mind at the last minute and was caught while making his way back home. He confessed the reason he planned the attack was a dispute with his parents that made him want to put an end to his life. In a separate but related development, the police and Shin Bet Security Service arrested 3 Jewish Israelis suspected of involvement in nationalistic hate crimes. Further details of that investigation, which comes amid an ongoing crackdown on Jewish terror, are under a gag order. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he is willing to meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas any day. Netanyahu's comments came in response to remarks made by Abbas last week during an interview on Channel 2 in which he expressed willingness to advance peace negotiations. However, Netanyahu urged that before peace talks, the first thing the two needed to discuss was ending ongoing Palestinian incitement against Israel.
A few days ago on Israeli television, I heard President Abbas say that if I invite him to meet, he'll come. So as I said this morning to an American congressional delegation, I'm inviting him again. I've cleared my schedule this week. Any day he can come, I'll be here. Now we have a lot of things to discuss, but the first item is ending the Palestinian campaign of incitement to murder Israelis. My door is always open to those who want to pursue peace with Israel.
The state-owned electric company has scaled back its electricity supply to Palestinian cities in the West Bank due to a growing debt of almost 2 billion shekels. The Israel Electric Corporation today decreased its supply to the city of Bethlehem after doing the same in Jericho last week. The IEC said it plans to cut back power in other cities over the coming weeks. Israel has until now continued to provide electricity out of concern for the Palestinian population, but the IEC insists it can no longer absorb the debt. It says similar measures are also taken against Israelis who don't pay their bills. Palestinian officials claim Israel gave them no advance warning of the Bethlehem power cut, and Israeli government officials also claim they were not informed of the move. The Supreme Court has granted the government an extra 3 months to present its plans for egalitarian Jewish prayer at the Western Wall. At the same time, judges also declined to issue a temporary order allowing women to use the site's Torah scrolls in the women's section. The deal, which was announced at the end of January, plans to expand the existing non-Orthodox prayer section at the site and creates a joint entrance with the Orthodox section, allowing women to pray in that area. Jewish Agency Chairman Natan Sharansky, a key figure in the negotiations leading to the agreement, said the decision to reopen discussions on the mixed-gender prayer section at the wall could torpedo the plan. He added that every word of the agreement was carefully negotiated and that making major changes stands to undermine the level of trust established between Prime Minister Netanyahu and the leaders of world Jewry. Turning now to health matters and an innovation that could potentially revolutionize the treatment of heart disease. A group of Israeli scientists have developed a bionic patch comprised of living cardiac cells and nanoelectronics designed to monitor and repair impaired hearts. We get more in this report from IBA's Efrat Patat.
They say it's not easy to mend a broken heart, but researchers at the Tel Aviv University are certainly doing their best to prove otherwise. A team of Israeli experts have created what they're calling a bionic patch that is designed to monitor and help treat heart conditions in real time. The thin device is comprised of functional tissue along with electronics that can give physicians a better idea of what exactly is going on inside a patient's heart.
Well, this is the first time that engineered tissue, thick engineered tissue, functional tissues are integrated with the electronics to become cyborg tissues, meaning that there is integration of machine and living tissues. What we've done here, we created this smart patch, smart cardiac patch. The patch is not only comprised of the cells and the biomaterials that make the cells a tissue. It also comprised or integrating smart electronics, nanoelectronics within. And the role of the electronics is to sense the function of the tissue and to provide or activate the tissue when needed.
In addition to providing more information for doctors, the patch can also be used to release medications, as well as to repopulate the defected area with cells that are capable of contraction, potentially providing an alternative to heart replacement for some patients.
The patient is sitting in his house, is not feeling well, and the physician immediately sees the condition of the heart on his computer and can remotely activate the heart, can provide electrical stimulation, can release drugs. And if you really think about this technology, we don't even need a physician because the cardiac patch can regulate its own function.
Findings of this research were published last month in the medical journal Nature Materials. It will still be a while until the bionic patch is available for commercial use, but clinic trials are expected in the near future. The team insists this latest development is a small step towards realizing the bigger dream of bionic organs.
Our vision is to there would be organs with electronics that would be transplanted. And this is exactly what we're doing now in the lab. We're not just engineering a patch, a piece of tissue with electronics. We're trying to 3D print the whole organ, the whole heart, with the electronics within. And I believe that in the future, in 10, 20 years, there would be such bionic organs to in the market or in hospitals to be transplanted.
The 20th Annual International Clean Tech Conference and Exhibition kicked off yesterday in Jerusalem. The two-day event features some of the world's leading technologies in the fields of renewable energy, recycling, water, green transportation, and green building. Despite its relatively small size and limited natural resources, Israel is rapidly growing into a leader in environmental innovations. The country now has an impressive list of over 600 homegrown companies specializing in the clean tech field. The Jewish state has placed a huge green stamp on global economies, especially in China, which has recently signed an agreement to boost trade and agricultural cooperation. A Chinese delegation said billions of Chinese are reaping the benefits of local green innovation, and that cooperation between the two countries is at its peak.
Israel is the most cleverest country, so you have a lot of great technology. We want to implement in China and industrialize in China. We have a best solution for you in China, so come on together and we build the future together.
And as if we didn't have enough to worry about, now there's a threat of a tsunami. Emergency services held a national tsunami drill to practice the evacuation of cities along the southern section of Israel's Mediterranean coast. The aim of the exercise, which was codenamed Blue Tidal Wave, was to raise the preparedness level of citizens, local authorities, and emergency services for such a scenario. First responders simulated the evacuation of residents from the beachfront cities of Ashkelon and Ashdod to secure areas. The drill was a joint operation of the Defense Ministry's National Emergency Management Authority and the police. And while the threat of a tsunami is not imminent, geologists warn they tend to happen on an average of once every century. Last week, authorities unveiled new tsunami warning signs at Ashkelon and Ashdod beaches. The signs, which will be erected all along the coast, list basic instructions to the public, highlight areas at high risk of flooding, and map escape routes. In financial news, shares were down in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange while the shekel was mixed in foreign currency trading. Here are the late afternoon numbers. Warmer than normal for the season. Here are the highs and lows for the next 24 hours at home and abroad. And that brings us to the end of this broadcast of IBA News. I'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, have a good evening and shalom from Jerusalem.